Composting feels like a sacred ritual in any organic garden. It turns scraps into soil, waste into nutrition, and keeps your plants thriving naturally. But what many gardeners don't realize is that a few wrong ingredients, sometimes things that seem totally natural, can quietly throw your entire pile off balance. You might not see it right away. Maybe your pile starts to smell sour, or it sits cold and stagnant for weeks. Maybe you find pests sneaking in or your plants underperforming when you spread the final product. The truth is, not everything biodegradable belongs in compost, and composting, while forgiving, is not a dumping ground for all organic matter. Let's take a closer look at the hidden offenders that may be derailing your compost, and what to use instead to keep your soil alive, balanced, and bursting with botanical energy. Why does compost sometimes fail? Well, it's not just about things breaking down. At its best, composting is a partnership between carbon, nitrogen, air, water, and microbes. But, that harmony is actually pretty fragile. Just one poorly chosen material can tip the balance, leading to things like anaerobic rot, nitrogen lockup, or even the spread of disease. It's not enough for something to be natural. Composting is really an ecosystem, and every input matters. That old onion peel or pizza crust might seem totally harmless, but honestly, it could be clogging airflow, repelling beneficial microbes, or even bringing in unwanted pathogens. Meat, dairy, and grease. These are just too much for a living compost pile. Let's start with probably the biggest mistake: adding meat, bones, dairy, or greasy leftovers. These items are extremely rich in fats and proteins, and while they do eventually break down, it's not in a way that compost piles really like. They rot fast, smell bad, and attract scavengers like rodents, flies, and raccoons. More importantly, they overwhelm the balance of microbes needed for aerobic breakdown and introduce bacterial strains that don't benefit your soil. Unless you're running an industrial-level hot compost system that reaches above 140 degrees Fahrenheit and is turned regularly, leave these kitchen scraps out. Even fish bones or butter-soaked veggies can sabotage an otherwise healthy pile. Cooked food and baked goods hidden culprits. You've probably tossed a bit of leftover pasta or half a sandwich into the compost at some point. It seems innocent enough. After all, it came from plants, right? The trouble is that cooked food often includes oils, salt, preservatives, and sugar. These ingredients slow decomposition, attract pests, and can create dense clumps that exclude oxygen, inviting unwanted anaerobic bacteria. The occasional crust or cracker isn't the end of the world, but make it a habit, and you'll end up with a stinky, sluggish pile that takes months longer to break down. Citrus, onions, and garlic overuse can backfire. Yes, you can compost citrus and alliums in small amounts, but large volumes of orange peels, lemon rinds, or onion skins pose a problem. Their natural oils and antimicrobial compounds can suppress the very bacteria and fungi your pile needs. Citrus also takes a long time to break down, especially in colder climates. And if your pile is small or slow, it may never fully decompose, leaving stubborn pieces behind in your garden beds. If you juice citrus daily or cook with a lot of garlic, spread the waste out over multiple piles or, consider burying them separately in a trench composting method instead. Pet waste, a risk not worth taking. Another no-go is pet waste, especially from cats and dogs. While herbivore manure, like that from rabbits, chickens, or goats, is compost gold, carnivore waste carries harmful pathogens that don't reliably break down in backyard systems. Toxoplasmosis from cat waste, for instance, can persist in soil and be dangerous to humans, especially pregnant women. Even compostable-looking litter often includes chemicals or clumping agents that aren't safe for soil. If you're composting for flowers only and running a hot, enclosed pile, the risk drops, but it's still better to keep pet waste in a separate system or dispose of it safely. Glossy paper and coated cardboard. Well, not all browns are good. You've likely heard that cardboard and newspaper are great for balancing compost piles. They provide carbon, texture, and help manage moisture. That's all true, but only if you're using the right kind. Coated, glossy, or heavily printed paper is another matter. These often contain chemical inks, waxes, or plastic coatings that don't break down and can introduce microplastics or toxins into your soil. Stick with plain, unbleached cardboard, brown paper, and black and white newsprint. If it feels shiny or smells like perfume, skip it. Diseased or chemically treated plant waste. Lastly, beware of plant waste that looks innocent but carries invisible baggage. If you've pulled up tomato vines with blight, powdery mildew-covered leaves, or plants treated with chemical herbicides, do not compost them. Most home compost piles never reach the consistent temperatures needed to kill off pathogens. Spreading this compost can, reinfect your garden next season. Likewise, lawn clippings or weeds sprayed with herbicide can linger in compost for months, sometimes even years, causing deformities or stunted growth in sensitive plants. Compost is only as clean as what you feed it. So, what can you add? The safest compost ingredients are simple: vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, crushed eggshells, leaves, straw, plain paper, tea leaves, and yard trimmings from untreated plants. These materials feed microbes, maintain airflow, and build structure. When in doubt, just ask yourself this: will this feed my soil life or will it fight it? Final thoughts here. Compost is alive, so treat it that way. Your compost pile isn't just a bin of waste. It's actually a living, breathing ecosystem full of microbes, insects, and fungi all working together to build the foundation of your garden. Each item you add either nurtures that system or, disrupts it. Being selective with your compost ingredients doesn't limit you. It actually liberates your garden from hidden setbacks. You'll have fewer pests, fewer problems, and compost that breaks down faster, smells better, and, feeds your plants more effectively. If this guide helped you rethink your composting habits, go ahead and share it with a fellow gardener. And, don't forget to subscribe to Botanical Bliss for more trusted, time-tested, and soil-loving gardening practices. Let's turn every pile into a powerhouse, one conscious choice at a time.